So how does a banker view money? Views money as a way to make money. Every purchase is an opportunity to gain. How do I gain when I'm purchasing stuff? And I always want to keep my money working. See, if I pay cash for everything, my money stops working. If my money is compounding and I pull it out to pay cash, I interrupt the compounding. I want my money to keep working for me. So there's something called compound interest, which is the most powerful force in the universe, according to Albert Einstein. And this is something we call a wealth curve. So the wealth curve allows you to be your own bank. So what does that mean? If I have my money in an account earning me interest, I want it to compound and stay that way forever. But I also need to buy things. I need to buy cars. I need to buy property. I need to do lots of different things. So how do I keep my money working for me and buy cars and buy property and do all of that at the same time? Well, it comes down to the vehicles that you use. So what if we could use your money without giving up the interest it would earn? So the way that would work is, first, I needed to create a pool of money. I need to put my money somewhere where it's earning compound interest, and I need to be able to use the pool of money as collateral for when I need cash, right? So I got the pool of money. Does that all make sense? Just let me know if that makes sense. If you guys are following in the comments, let me know. So the idea is I want to put my money in an account that's growing. It's earning me interest. And then when I want to buy stuff, I want to be able to take a loan against it, not take the money out. Because if I take a loan against it, I can still have my money working for me and buy the car or buy the real estate property at the same time. That's what I want to do. I want to do both. I want to be able to have my money working for me and buy real estate at the same time. Well, if I can leverage that money to buy income producing assets like real estate, that real estate would cash flow and pay me interest every month, right?
People are tracking. They say, yes, makes sense.
Okay, great. So here's another question. I'll show you some other examples. If your money was earning 4%, would it make sense for you to borrow money at 6%? I want you to think about this one for a second. If so, I'm earning 4%, would it make sense for me to borrow money at 6%? The immediate answer when you ask people this question, they'll go, no, because the interest is higher. They will say, no, it doesn't make any sense for me to borrow against that. But I want you to consider the numbers, because most of the time people don't think about it that way. Because you're always told debt's bad. It's bad for you to borrow, all these different things. That's what you're told. And what I'm trying to do here is give you some truth and some insight behind how things actually work. So that when you understand that, you can make better decisions for yourself, right? And how to use money to actually accelerate your wealth. Now, here's the proof of that. So let's say I go to buy a car and the interest rate is 6%. And they say I got to pay this car off in 60 months, which is 5 years. My payments will be $580. So the total I would spend for that car is $34,799, right? So almost $34,800 is how much I would spend to own that car if I'm financing it. But what if I had my money set aside and I was earning 4%? After the same 60 months, after the same 5 years, I have $36,630, even though the interest rate was lower. So in that case, it actually would have made more financial sense to not pay cash for my car, to actually borrow, because my money would be higher than the interest I would have paid for the car. You understand? What if this was flipped? So I'll say that again. In this situation, if I had the $30,000 in an account earning 4%, and I went somewhere and it said, hey, we can finance this car for 6%. A lot of times people say, no, I've got the money, I should pay cash. So to do that, I'm not saying it's wrong either way. I'm just saying this is what the number is. You get to decide for yourself which path you want to do. So the way a banker will look at it and say, okay, well, what's the math? So the banker will say, well, if I'm earning 4% and my account at the end is going to be $36,600, it would make sense for me to finance or take a loan against my money. What if I established my own account, built my own bank, and I could borrow against myself? And then I could pay myself this $580. Aren't I giving myself the interest that I would have gave a traditional bank? and my money is still growing. So think about that. So instead of financing it from a party I didn't know, let's say a bank, what if I built up my own capital and I was able to borrow against my capital while it was growing? And I took this $30,000 against myself and I went and bought this car and I made the payments back to myself. Remember what Rothschild said? You could take a loan against a family bank, you have to pay it back. So as you paid it back, guess what? My money's still been growing at the same time, and this $580, instead of it going to a traditional bank, it was going to the bank of myself because I took a loan against my money. Now, let's take it out a step further. What if this was $100,000? And I took that $100,000 and I put it into real estate, which is what we advise a lot of people to do, is they can establish their own accounts, build it up, leverage it, and put it into an income producing asset. Now, instead of me paying on that car, I've got the real estate that's paying me every month. So right now, Chelsea now is shopping for assisted living properties because assisted living properties have very strong cash flow. So I'm looking at the cash flow from the properties. You understand? So you establish your own bank and then you do that.